record. Yeah, great. So we were just talking briefly that you're just about to go on this amazing holiday.
Yes, very exciting.
It's
On
so
Friday.
exciting. Friday. Where you fly to?
So we fly to Vegas first for 4 nights, then we go to LA for 2 nights, and then we have a week in Hawaii.
Shouldn't be allowed. But it sounds so fantastic.
Yeah, really.
Anywhere particular that you'll want to be going in Hawaii?
Do you know what? Not sure at the moment. We're like, there's a few things we want to do and stuff, but we're just going to use that as like, that's the relaxation part. The other part's like party.
The party, major party stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're going to love Vegas. And obviously, as they say, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But anyway, but I'm sure we'll see loads of pictures.
Oh, you will.
I hope so. Anyway, it's just wonderful to have you on. And, I know that, obviously we're going to be talking about online business, and we're going to be talking particularly about the Juice Plus business tonight, because that is what you have focused on, and that's where you've had a huge amount of success. Tell us how all of this began for you, or perhaps first of all, before we go, let's just talk a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I joined in November 2014, but prior to that, I was doing my PGCE to be a secondary school drama teacher. I had been to university, I'd been traveling, I'd worked a few different jobs in recruitment and in offices and things like that. And then I worked in a school for 6 years, and part of that was I did my teacher training. So I probably joined at the craziest time of my life because I was so busy. But I just think sometimes these things like come to you at that time for a reason. So yeah, that was my background before, is that I was a drama and dance teacher.
Great. And then what was it that really, attracted you to Juice Plus? I mean, when you say you joined, you then started in with the Juice Plus business as such. But what attracted you to it? Because obviously you're extremely busy as a teacher, training with your career rolling. What made you think, this is something I need to look at?
So I actually went along to an event with my boyfriend, Dan, who he was the one that had kind of been approached on social media about earning an extra income. And he was definitely in the mindset of he wanted to leave carpentry, he wanted to find something else, or he wanted to find a way that he could fund his own carpentry business. So he was definitely like on the look for something extra. And like I always say to people, they join it for one of two reasons. It's either desperation or inspiration. So Dan very much fitted in the desperation box in the sense that he was looking for something else and he wanted to find a way out. But I went along to the event with him, and I wasn't going for me, I was going for him. But I was obviously really inspired by the products. I thought they sounded amazing, definitely something that I could benefit from. And I just saw really average, I don't mean that in a bad way, but like average, regular people that were like doing really well at this. And I couldn't help but feel that I could do it just as well, if not better, because I was young and I used social media. And there was particularly at the time, there was like a guy who was a fireman, and he shared his story that he had quit his job to do this, and I thought, he's in a public service job as well, like me. Like if he's doing this, then why couldn't I? But a lot of people don't realise that Dan and I actually shared a franchise for about a year. So I didn't think I'd have the time. So that was my big objection when we started. I really wanted to do it, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to have the time. And I really quickly realised that I was doing it anyway. I was like, started to take the products, started to tell people about it, started getting some customers, and I was giving them all to Dan. So eventually, it's kind of later on in the story why I joined, but we just did it together to start with. And I always say I joined out of inspiration and he joined out of desperation.
Yeah, and so you found it, it flowed to be developing the customers and everything. You were able to engage with people. Tell us about that, how you engage with people very, very early on to bring people on as customers. What was the thing that you were saying to them that got people moving?
I literally just saw it as an opportunity, because I think when you're new, it's the best time. Like I said it yesterday on stage, but you are never, you will never be as relatable as you are when you start. And I think people underestimate that. They think, oh, I haven't got a product story yet, or oh, I should probably use the products first. And I'm like, no, you're at your most relatable point right now, because the reason why you join the business, or the reason why you're starting the products, that's your story. And essentially, I was saying to people, like, hey, I'm starting this new thing. First of all, I approached, like, people that I knew, my warm market, friends, family, acquaintances. And I said, like, hey girls, like, I'm starting this new thing. I want to get healthier because I want to lose a bit of weight and I want to get healthier. And do you know anyone that might be interested? Because we could all do it together. And I just kind of did it from the point of a community point of view, like, let's not do it on our own, let's do it together. And I remember I got my first 10 customers within 6 days. And they weren't people I necessarily knew really well. It was kind of like, people would say, yeah, my friend from work wants to do it as well. Is that okay? Can I give you her name? It kind of like got referrals straight away. And I put all those people into a group chat, and we all just like really spurred each other on with the plan. Like, we were doing it together. I was one of them. So I always think that's a really good way to approach people, because you're not really approaching them to sell them something, or you're not coming at them from a sales point of view. You're coming at them from a, like, let's all do this together, which is, you look at things like Weight Watchers or like Slimming World, they go along to these groups so that they can be weighed. It's not because they want to be publicly shamed every week standing on the scales. It's because they want to feel part of something, and they want to be part of a community that's bigger than just themselves. And that's the same with the business as well, like if you're recruiting people. So I just think, like, if you kind of give off that community vibe and that, like, let's do it together, I feel like getting sales is much easier then.
And when you're saying do it together, you were all slimming down together. You were just toning up, and it was that journey, was it?
Yeah, like
losing a bit of weight.
Yeah, initially my customers were weight loss, but even now, if I've got customers who don't want to lose weight, maybe their goals are different. It's still, the principles are still the same, and like, we're all sharing what we had for dinner, or
yeah
stuff. So I think it's just about like that sharing culture, really.
Yeah. So you got going. I mean, you've been giving customers to Dan, and then you thought, right, come on, I'm going to do this myself.
Yeah. Well,
what happened then? I mean, what was the first 6 months like?
So there was a little bit in between. So basically, I didn't recruit anyone for 3 or 4 months, which is crazy now. If anyone knows, like, I'm nearly top of the leaderboard every month now for recruitment. And yet I started off like not recruiting anyone for 3 to 4 months. So I always say to new people, especially, like, don't despise the small beginnings. Don't begrudge where you like to be a learner, to be a starter, because where you start definitely doesn't determine where you end up. So I didn't get any team members 3 or 4 months. Then I started to recruit, started to build a team. This is all under Dan's name. And we had a team of about 30 people within 6 months. So we got to SC. We never actually reconfirmed. And then it just seemed all of a sudden everyone left our team. Like, it felt like one summer came and everyone just disappeared. And we literally were left with 1 team member. And most people, I think, at that point would probably be thinking like, oh, great, well, I'm just going to quit because my whole team has left and this is really deflating. And like, I don't want to do this anymore. But Dan and I, and this is where, like, I think mindset's really important, and working on your mindset, is that Dan and I actually had a chat and we said, right, we've done it once before. We've built a team of 30 before. We can build a team of 30 again. And we just saw it as an opportunity to learn and grow. And we reflected on what we had done and what we could have done better. And we were like, right, we need to learn from this. And the problem is that we never got anyone past the position of DD. And when we started to reflect upon why we weren't getting anyone past the position of DD, and I don't know if anyone on this call.
And when we say DD, that's direct distributor for those people that are very new. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the first promotion. So when we were thinking like, how could we help people, we realised that we needed to lead the way. We needed to show people how it was done in order to teach other people. So this is when we decided that I would sign up. So I signed up as a distributor under Dan. I went fast track STD in the January, reconfirmed in the February, then went SC, reconfirmed. And what happened was my team started to duplicate. So all of a sudden, all my team, like my new team, started to break STD because I was leading the way. I was able to teach them how to get a sale and how to get a team member. And that's something that I think we do really well now as a team, is that when anybody gets a sale, even if it's a new person or gets a team member, we share in our group chats, right, great, can you tell everyone how you did it? was it from the opportunity call, or did you get a customer from sharing your results, or like was it because you went live? So we always try to learn from each other, including the new people, and I think that's a great way to teach, because people don't do what you say, they do what you do. So we led by example, and got to SC, on my franchise got to SC, and Dan had obviously reconfirmed. Are you happy for me just to continue explaining?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I just wanted to ask you, having lost a group of people, where did your new people come from?
All from social media.
All from social media, Facebook, Instagram?
At the time, it was just Facebook. I didn't even use Instagram, but I probably say now, I probably get 50-50 now, 50% from Instagram, but that's because I now put more time into Instagram. Like I dismissed Instagram for so long. I didn't really know how to use it that well. I didn't have a following. I had a brand new Instagram account. So.
And how do you use it most effectively, Instagram?
So I honestly could do a whole set report on Instagram. A few key things. This is just what works for me. So like maybe you guys, you might do some things different. I keep my Instagram very personal. So my entire feed on my Instagram is all me, myself, and I. So it's just pictures of me, my friends, like out and about. I will tag my outfits. I'll tag locations. I'll like just show like lifestyle or fitness and all the things that I like. But then where I do the work is in my story. So I'm using the Instagram stories and the highlight stories to show the products, my results, other people's, share the business, do polls, do quiz questions and all that sort of thing. So I feel like it's the way to look at Instagram is it's like a magazine. Your actual profile is like the front cover and the stories is the inner pages. So that's really your front cover is what's going to hook them. Someone's going to look at your Instagram feed and they're going to make a snapshot judgment within about 3 seconds of whether or not they want to follow you. And that's why I say I keep it me, because I think, again, it's each to their own. But if I was posting pictures of shakes and food, I don't think that looks that good. I think it can look messy sometimes. So I like to keep it all looking aesthetically pleasing so that there is kind of like the hook. And then, you know, like the hook and cook, you can cook them in your story. So that's how I use Instagram personally.
Great. Okay, well, it's obviously extremely effective for you. What was your first big breakthrough, would you say, Harriet?
I'd probably say when I was in hospital. So kind of leading on from the story, actually, I'd got my franchise to SC reconfirmed and I was building towards SSC. And it was June 2017. And I had this operation to have a bunion removed on my foot. It was like a routine day operation, very simple, in and out kind of job, and then just sort of resting it for 8 weeks. And I was really looking forward to it because I thought, great, I can be off work and it's a great opportunity to build my business. But unfortunately, like all the things that the doctors warn you of, and they get you to sign that little bit of paper warning you of infection and sepsis and amputation, basically all those things happened to me. And I was that really unlucky 1% that got really ill, got really bad infection that went unnoticed for like 10 to 12 days. And then I was hospitalized in emergency because obviously they were worried that I was going to get sepsis and that the infection had got into my bone. So I was at risk of having my foot amputated. I had 5 operations to reconstruct my foot because I'd lost all the skin and tissue. And I had this whole month in hospital. And the reason this is relevant and to my story and to my breakthrough is that I realized, that was the moment I realized that this was no longer a hobby for me, that this had huge potential if I was willing to put the work in. And I know a lot of people, again, if you're in a situation like that, you're a month in hospital, most people would say business is the last thing that they would think about. But for me, it was the first, because I was like, I'm in this shit scenario. Why would I want to make my situation any worse by losing my business as well? Like, I was at risk of losing my foot. I was at risk of losing my job as a dance teacher. I was never going to dance again. Why would I want to make my situation worse and lose my business as well? So again, like my mindset was programmed for success. And I was like, right, I need to make this work. And the reason it was my biggest breakthrough is because I was getting paid pretty much a full-time wage at this point from Juice Plus, whilst I was on statutory sick pay I didn't go back to work for 6 months after. So that whole time, what could have been what was an awful situation could have been made 10 times worse with financial difficulty, but it wasn't, because of the business. And the people that were calling me and checking up on me and visiting me were people from the Juice Plus company. And I just remember thinking like, wow, like I've got something really great. I'm not prepared to let it go. And I ended up going SSC the month after I came out of hospital, and Dan went QNMD. So,
and to remind us, SSC, what would the volume be for that turning over?
So that's a 10,000 pay line for SSC, and it comes with a £1,800 bonus.
Amazing. So that was all just whilst you were in hospital, or just after you came out of hospital?
Yeah, and I always say, like, it sounds really impressive, doesn't it? Like, oh, she's in hospital and then she got this. But actually, this is where the power of 90 days is so important, because it wasn't the month that I was in hospital that did it. Like, yes, I stayed consistent, and I was incredibly blessed that my team continued working without me. But the point was, it was the 90 days leading up to that meant I went SSC the month before. So I always say to people, like, have you been giving it everything for 90 days? Have you been bringing in new people, getting them to their promotions? Because it's that momentum that's going to help you get your promotion. So you can't just give it all you've got for 1 month and go, oh, I didn't hit my promotion, so that's that. Like, you have to keep going. And that's what I would say was like my biggest breakthrough.
So a lot of people would be thinking, wow, you know, Harriet, what is your daily method of operation now? What do you do every day? You know, we're talking about going SSC and, you know, £10,000 worth of volume and everything. And it seems, for a lot of people, it seems that it's out of this world. So what do you do every day to build this momentum?
I'd say like my DMO has changed like over time. I used to have like, during that time when I was working full time, I was very organized in the sense that I would plan all my posts the night before. I would wake up half an hour earlier than I needed to actually get out of bed so I could run my reports, I could message my team chat, I could do my first post, I could connect and add new people, etc., etc. So I'd do a lot of my DMO in the morning, and then I knew that I could just catch up with messages whilst I was at work on my lunch break, and then the real work was obviously in the evening. But I would say now, like, when people ask, like, can I see your DMO? I'm like, you don't really need to. It's not relevant. I don't believe that me showing you my DMO would benefit any of you, because your day isn't my day, and you're not me and I'm not you. But what I base my DMO around is having conversations. So I won't go to bed if I've not had 5 brand new business and 5 brand new product conversations. And that's how I judge my day and if my activity's been productive. So for example, you know, one day I could be working from home solidly and I'm talking to lots of people and I'm posting more, and other days I'm busier and it has to come with me. But I always judge it around, am I tagging people in my opportunity video? Am I putting new customers on? Like, where are these conversations going? So whatever you need to do, whether it's posting more, adding and connecting with new people, doing polls on Instagram, catching up with your clients, like whatever it is you need to do, just make sure that every day you're having new conversations, and those things are allowing you to have new conversations. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you, obviously you're bringing in people and they're joining your team, but how are you actually developing your team? Because you said before, you know, I mean, you know, you had a whole lot of people join and then they left, but now you're obviously really developing a team big time. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, recruitment wise, I recruit at least 10 a month every month. In the 90 days leading up to me going NMD, I think I recruited 39 frontline. So it's really important that you have I believe that you should have a system for when people join, because otherwise that would be like spinning a hell of a lot of plates. So when someone's new, I always say it's like a game of chess. Like, they move, you move. I've spent so long moving and waiting for that person to make their move, and it just never happened, and I've like chased them off the board basically. So I always have this rule now. So I have a little checklist for when someone joins. So first of all, they need to order their own products. That's like number one, unless of course they're a customer. So they need to order their products. They then need to watch, I've got like some training videos that I've got in my team that I make them watch when they join. I then help them write their first status to announce that they're a new ambassador. and they have to post that. And only when they've done those 3 things will I have a phone call with them. And that phone call has to happen within 48 hours. So once they've done that, I'll have the phone call, and then their next move is for them to get on a team Zoom call. So that's kind of like how I initially get someone started. But I think it's really important in your business, in whatever position you are, is to have rhythms. So whether it's tapping into your upline's systems or whether you've got a team big enough to have your own, it's important that you have a weekly team call. So every Sunday at 8, I've literally just got off my one to come on this one. Without fail, like I'm going on holiday and I've already got 2 of my team organized to host one week and the next week while I'm away. Like, we are not missing the Sunday night call, because like when my family are like, do you want to come around for dinner on Sunday night? I'm like, it has to be before 8, because otherwise I'm not coming. Like, they know that's work. That's like me going to the office. Like, you've got to go to work, I've got to do a Sunday night call at 8, and I'll never miss it. So that's the first thing, weekly call. We also have a weekly call where we do like a power hour, where we're on Zoom and we're setting tasks and we all work together. That happens every Thursday at 8. We have a monthly event in Bath, and obviously now recently with James, we started the London event.
London, yeah.
So again, like, we have these rhythms, like every month there's a Bath event without fail. And we have these monthly incentives. So we have these rhythms, so that, because people like familiarity. And if you're sort of randomly going, should we have a team call? Yeah, you might get some people on, but you're not going to get that consistency that is required to get that momentum that you need. So I think having rhythms and things in place is something that people really enjoy and people feel familiar with. So that's kind of how I would manage a
Brilliant.
team.
So tell us, here we are, we're just into the last part of the year. What are your goals for this year? You've just gone NMD, very exciting. What are your goals now?
So my goal this month is to reconfirm and get on that Dubai plane. A big one for me. And
what have you had to do that?
I have to reconfirm £40,000 worth of sales.
Very good. Yeah.
So that will happen this month. And really, I want to be breaking new SSCs in my team. So I've got a few girls that are going for it this month and the month after. So really setting them up. Personal goals, I'm hoping I might at some point be engaged.
Oh my God.
But that one's not really in my hands.
Right. So you might have to wait to February the 29th, the leap year.
Oh, I threatened that, and he said, don't do that, it's embarrassing.
Well, you've given a very big hint. So anyway, well, hopefully he'll pick up on it. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so, okay, that's another good goal. Of course, you've got the amazing holiday coming up.
Yeah, exactly. And I've actually I can show you guys, actually. I've got a vision board. So if anyone doesn't have a vision board, then I would definitely recommend having one. I've just updated mine. So on here, we've got a few things. I want to, it might seem silly to other people, but I want to fly business class.
Show us. Can you turn it round? Because people would love to see the pictures.
So I'll show you this. Yes. So I want to fly business class. I
love that. Yep.
Birthday celebration. I'd like to speak on stage, so maybe Edinburgh if possible.
Well, it's highly likely you are going to. Yeah, go on.
I've even got the Dubai trip. I've got the engagement ring that I want. I'm manifesting it every day.
Come on.
And then the other side is this is what I want my wedding to look like. So where's
that going to be?
These pictures are from a villa in Ibiza that I want to get married in. But
that's so cool that you know exactly all about it and everything. I love it.
Well, yeah, it was one of the biggest things that Alex Webb taught me was that, even he said, don't just set a goal and have a pretty picture. You have to go and manifest it in real life. So, for example, before we bought our Range Rover, he said, go and test drive a Range Rover. And I actually remember going, and Dan had booked it and sort of surprised me because he didn't tell me till we were on the way that's what we were doing. So he knew that I wouldn't go. And the reason I wouldn't go is because I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, they're going to know I can't afford a Range Rover. Like, they're going to see straight through me. And then I started panicking, going, I don't look like someone that owns a Range Rover. Am I wearing the right clothes? What does someone that owns a Range Rover look like? I don't even know, which was utterly ridiculous because I own a Range Rover and I live in my joggers half the time. So that's just stupid. But that was because that was the fear that was holding me back from progressing. So we went.
And when did you buy your Range Rover?
We bought our first one a couple of years ago, and we just recently bought a brand new one. So
I love that.
Yeah. So
was that a massive thrill when you went to the dealership to get it?
Oh yeah, because I went from thinking I could never have one to sitting in one, test driving it, and even I got so specific. I got to the point where I was like, I want this interior, this stitching, this and that, and these wheels and this, and when you really know what you want, you just work harder for it. Because I didn't want to get back into my crappy car after sitting in a £80,000 Range Rover. I was like, I want to get back in the range. So, and we did it the same with the house. We went and looked at houses. We actually found, so we've got our house now. We live in a 5-bed detached house, and we actually only found it by accident because I was looking on Rightmove, which everyone does because it's like the equivalent to looking through the Argos catalogue when you're a kid. Yep. And I was dream house shopping for houses, and I was putting in £500,000 houses. I was thinking, gosh, maybe in 5 years we could afford this. And we went and looked at one, and it was nice, but it actually turned out it was a bit too small. But on the way home, I said, let's pull in here. There's a show home. And we literally came by chance, looked around the show home. It was unbelievable. And it was £520,000. And I was like, oh gosh. And I was like, it's just so amazing. I need it. That feeling like I have to have it. And anyway, we called our accountant that night. I was like, is it possible? And he was like, yeah, it's possible. And we're like, no way. So we ended up getting the house, and we manifested it in real life. It was just crazy. So if you've got a goal, go and actually physically, I've tried on that engagement ring that I won. It was a few years ago, but I physically know what it looks like, what it feels like.
Amazing.
So that you work harder for it.
I love that, Harriet. I absolutely love it. So look, we're just coming to the end of the part where, I'm going to be asking questions, and hopefully people will start coming up with some questions for themselves. So on the chat box, everybody, if you would just come up with some ideas of questions that you would like to ask, that would be absolutely great. So hopefully people will start coming up with some questions. And then, Gordon had said if people could switch on their cameras, then we can take a picture of people. Great. Well, let's do that. All right. So for the new people looking at the call, listening to the call for the first time, what would you say to them? What would you say to encourage them? What would you say in terms of what you have seen that you didn't see before, but that you really want to impress on people?
I would probably say that when I first joined, I went to my first event, which was Reading in January 2015. And I actually only went because Alex Webb, I'd won an incentive, and Alex Webb had bought my hotel room, and I was actually thinking of quitting because I wasn't doing very well, which is quite funny. I did tell Alex eventually, but I didn't tell him at the time. And I was like, oh, we've won this hotel room, let's just go and have a cheeky little night away together, and and then we'll quit. And anyway, the reason we didn't quit is because we went along to this event. We met so many incredible people that were earning crazy money, hitting these life-changing promotions. And it was just nuts. And I remember Alex saying to me, give it 3 to 5 years of hard, consistent action, and it will change. This business will change your life. And I remember, and he just kept saying it to me. And I remember thinking okay, so if I stay consistent at this for 3 to 5 years, it will change my life. And November 2014, I joined, so I come up to my 5th year. And when I reel it off, Dan and I both quit our jobs. I quit my teaching job. We bought our £500,000 house. We were on our second Range Rover. We're about to go on a life, once in a lifetime trip. We've gone on more holidays since joining this business than ever before. And I've seen so many people that joined at the same time as me. Actually saw a couple of them at Alex's funeral. who are now, they joined at the same time as me, but they quit. And they're all working in full-time jobs again, which is fine if they're happy, like, good for them. But I just think that, well, I didn't quit, and it's almost like I won by default. They could have had my life as well, but they quit. So I always say to people, know that this business is a system. You have to trust the system and know that it's 3 to 5 years will dramatically change your life, but you have to stay in the game.
Yeah, that's right. But Harriet, I mean, where do you see the next 5 years? Because, I mean, you must now have the smell of something which is really intoxicating for you now, that you now know that you can achieve not just the success that you've got now, but you can achieve absolutely outrageous success. I can see it in you. I can see it in you that you can go. I mean, we're talking about, you know, very, very, very good passive income that you're earning now. What would you say that you've earned so far since you've been in the business?
Gosh, I wouldn't even know. I mean, our best check in 1 month combined was 14,000.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. But that's just the beginning in terms of where this can go for you. And because of social media, because of the way the company is growing, because of the international focus. I mean, this is just the beginning.
100%. We're so lucky. Like, the company are doing more than they've ever done in the last 5 years that I've been with them. Like, the stuff they're producing for us now, we are honestly so fortunate to have, like, the people working behind the scenes and what they're doing. Like, the things that are coming for you guys is honestly unreal. You have to just stay in the game. But Juice Plus is in my blood. Like, I've planned to do this forever. Like, this is my life. I plan to be like top female earner, to be on like PMD Club 1,000, like not even on Club 100. Like, I see this as like the rest of my life, and like I'm there. I won't stop. Like, there's nothing else.
Amazing. Good. Well, look, let's get into some questions now. Honestly, Harriet, that really, really is incredible. I have to say, it really is. And I can just see it in you, the fire. I can see that sense of certainty in you, which is just so phenomenal. It's so exciting to see. So everybody, if we could just turn on our cameras, because we'd love to see, we've got some people that are just blank screens and all that sort of stuff. But if you could come on the screen, it'd be so lovely to see everyone. All right, here we go with questions. Aviva, I can't see you. There's a shot of your ceiling, but you know, it'd be lovely to see you. So let's just go into all of this now. Aviva asks, when you help a new person to get going, a new team, they write their post about their new business, what should they be doing?
Well, I'll just read it to you because I've got it on my phone.
Yeah.
So I always tell my new team member they can reword it and they can write what they like, but I think for a lot of people, they don't know what to say. So this is what I send to them to put on their Facebook. It says, I'm so excited to announce I've made the best decision to become a brand ambassador for XXY, which is our brand. I will be improving my own healthy lifestyle as well as helping others to do the same. Anyone else looking to feel more body confident and healthier, or if you're interested in earning an extra income on social media, message me for info. So that's
the first thing that could you read that to us again? Sorry, Harry. I know people are going to be saying, I can see people writing, ready to write. What do you say? Just very quickly. Go on.
Should I just send it to you, James, and you can share it?
Send it to me. Yes, you can send it to me. Anyway, on we go. All right. Yeah. And people will have to listen to the video over again. So someone says, Leslie Jane says, I need some tips for recruiting. I can sell the products, but I need to recruit. Now, you had that sort of period at the beginning where you weren't recruiting. What changed to make it all happen?
First of all, you need to make a decision that you're focused on recruitment, because when I decided I was going to start recruiting more, yes, I did still get sales, don't get me wrong, but I allowed myself, I used to get like 40 sales a month myself and not as many team members, but I knew that was going to have to give a little bit.
40 sales a month. That's phenomenal.
So I knew that was going to have to give a little bit to increase my recruitment. So I allowed that to happen. So I focused more on recruitment. You need to know who you're trying to recruit in the first place. So you need to figure out who your tribe is. And
who would you determine your tribe is?
My tribe are people aged 20 to 30 that work full time. Some are teachers. Obviously, I was a teacher. Most of them are saving for a house or wanting to quit their jobs, and they have similar interests to me, such as reality TV, like online shopping stores, and things like that. So really, if you want to know who your tribe is, you need to know who you are and what you like. And it's people who like those things or are similar to you, because we attract people that are similar to us. So that's the first thing. And then you need to have a strategy. So what I would recommend is actually writing down, if you've ever recruited one or more people, you can do this. So write down how you recruited your last team member or your last couple of team members. So were they a customer first? Did you do it offline? Was it through a Facebook Live? Like, did you tag them in your weekly opportunity call? Like, what is it you did? And then do more of that. So for me, like every Monday at 9, which is actually happening right now, one of my girls is leading the opportunity call, and there'll be people watching that. So I know that that's one really strong way that I get customers. The second being I turn my customers into team members. So you need to figure out what your strategy is and then go all in on that, is what I would say.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Now, Katie asks a question. She says, hi, Harriet, such great ideas. How do you go about conversations on Instagram? I used to do the whole trying to be friends thing, but it's so slow. Do you still recommend trying to chase friendships or mention the business, the products within a few messages? And if they say no or ignore you, do you follow up? So how do you handle that?
I get my team members and customers through my polls on my story. So that's where I'm finding people.
Your polls on your story? What? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do a poll on your story. So you can say like, who's looking to earn an extra £100 to £200 a month, and then always make the poll double positive. So rather than saying yes or no, you say yes and hell yes, or yes and give me info. Like you can edit the poll. And then I would message everyone that answered the poll. And obviously and then this is another thing you can do, because it's hard to follow up on Instagram because people don't normally have their proper name. It's kind of like a username. So if you go to your settings on Instagram and you go onto account settings, and then you change your Instagram account to a creator profile rather than a personal or business account, it will say, it should say something like professional and then creator account. Select that you're a blogger and then come out of it. And what it will do is it will split your inbox into two. So you'll now have a general and a primary inbox. So then what you can do is you can, if I'm having a conversation with someone about the business, I can swipe as if I'm going to delete the message and choose them to go in my other inbox. And then I know that each day I go to that other inbox and that's all my potentials.
Wow.
And then you can follow up with them. So if people, I don't message people on Instagram. I don't message people and say, hey, do you want to join Juice Plus? I literally just chase my votes on my polls. And I probably do, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I do like 3 or 4 polls a day. Like I'm on it. So that's where I get all of my
That's
leads.
amazing. Yeah. So Michelle and Gordon ask, so again, they say, great call. I'm curious to know, what is your strategy to help so many people each month achieve success? Did I hear you say 31 people in 1 month when you went to NMD?
No.
So how can you handle helping and working with so many people at once?
Yeah, so I had 39 people in the 3 months leading up to NMD. So my biggest month was 16 in 1 month.
Wow.
So because there's so many, and because even on a normal month I recruit 10, so it's still a lot. I put them, what I do is each month I add them into my normal group chat, but I create a new chat. So last month was called August Angels. And then I put them all, once I've got 2 or more, they get put in this group chat and I get them to introduce each other. And obviously throughout the month, more and more people are being added to it. And then I have in my notes on my phone, I've got like 10 days worth of little challenges, like this is how to add new friends, or this is the Jim Rohn thing you should listen to. Here's a link with information about the products, and I drip feed them the information by group. And then I have a Zoom call with like as many as them that can get on, a separate Zoom call with just the new people where I unmute them and I find out more about them. So that's how I manage them. But really recruiting that number of people, I am really looking to divide the weak from the strong. So I already know that people are going to fall below the waistline, and that's okay, because I'm looking for the people that, like I said earlier, that make their moves that I can move with as well. So if you're recruiting 1 to 2 a month and you're feeling deflated and you feel like people are quitting, no one's doing anything, and they're not getting off to the best start, sometimes we think it's us and we think it's our fault, but that's not always the case. It's just the fact that you're working the numbers at a really low level, because it's not unusual.
When you say working the numbers at a low level, what level do you think you've got to be working the numbers to get the sort of the success that you need to get? What do you think?
I think 5 a month minimum.
5 new a month.
That's just over 1 a week, which I think is achievable.
Yeah. And are you beginning to see some really good success people coming through? People who've really got that initiative?
Yeah, so out of the 39, because I thought it'd be interesting to see like what happened, so I actually documented it. So out of the 39 people I recruited in the lead up to NMD, I had 3 new SCs, 7 SDDs, and loads of DDs. So I knew that it was working. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. So when you look at the way things are going, right, in terms of social media, can you see a path ahead in terms of the way it's developing and what's going to happen more with social media, with Facebook and Instagram? Because some people are saying that Facebook is narrowing down a little bit. How would you handle that in terms of the way social media is going?
Yeah,
or do you just see a never-ending success from social media?
Look, even if Facebook got shut down tomorrow, someone would create a new Facebook platform. Like, social media is not going anywhere. And this is why I think it's important that you don't just, if you do use Facebook, that you don't just use Facebook. So yesterday I had one of my girls do an Instagram presentation, and I said to the room, there's 300 people there yesterday, and I said, who wants to learn more about Instagram? And like, not even half the room put their hands up. And I said, sorry, you don't want to learn how to use Instagram? I was like, what are you going to do if Facebook shuts down or if you get blocked for 3 days? And I said, who wants to learn about Instagram? And the whole room put their hands up. And I was like, come on, guys, you can't, like, because I've had it happen. Like, there was one night, literally a couple months ago, 7 of my girls all got their Facebook account blocked for like no reason. And they were blocked for 3 days, and luckily they were able to use our Instagram account, because otherwise they technically wouldn't be doing any business. So I was like, you can't rely on one platform. So make sure you're on at least 2 platforms, Facebook and Instagram, because if Facebook's down, Instagram will be running, and vice versa.
Yeah. And do you ever use LinkedIn?
No, it's not really me.
Never, not your thing at all.
I'm sure it works. It's just not. I feel like it's more for professionals.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. It's got a very, very big reach, LinkedIn. Huge reach.
Yeah, I know. I've heard amazing things about it. It's just I was never on LinkedIn as a professional, so yeah. I guess I'd feel weird.
I get that. And then finally, offline.
Yeah.
Everything happening offline, and how do you conduct yourself offline? I mean, in talking to people where you are, roundabout, how do you do that?
So I wouldn't say I'm the best at offline, but what I am good at is making friends with people. So what I generally do, like, for example, I was at a fitness class a few months ago, and I went to a new circuits class by myself. So I didn't know anyone. I'd not been before. And straight away I saw this girl who looked a similar age to me, and we started talking. And I said to her, have you been to this class before? And she was like, oh, I came last week. I was like, oh, I've not been before. I'm a bit nervous. She's like, oh, but you can stay with me if you want. I was like, oh, thank you. We did the whole class together. As we were going around the circuits, we're talking about Love Island. And then she asked me what I did for work. And she was like, oh, that sounds interesting.
And what did you say, by the way? When she said, what do you do for work? What did you say?
So I said, oh, I work for an online health company selling health products.
I like that.
I said, oh, that sounds interesting. I said, have you heard News Plus? And then I said, what do you do? And she goes, I'm a PE teacher. I was like, no way. I was like, I used to be a teacher. And so I said to her, would it be okay to add you on Facebook, because I'm probably going to come next week. It would be good to meet you here at the class. Now, she hasn't turned into a team member or a client yet. The point is what my strategy for offline is, make a friendship and get them on Facebook. And then I let my Facebook do the talking, because I'm not the best at like just going straight in with it.
No. Well, look, Harriet, we're up to time now. I mean, really, you are unbelievable. You are just flying. You are just incredible. And it has been phenomenal having you on the call. You're flying high. I just can see you just becoming so outrageously successful. And it's wonderful to see. But it's also amazing to see how you've had hiccups along the way where you felt like you were going to quit. That scenario where you said, where you went on that conference and you just said, well, we'll go because we feel like quitting, but you didn't. And now look where you are and look where you're headed. It's unbelievable.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Nice comments.
Yeah. Good, good, good. Well, look, have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you so much.
And we really look forward to welcoming you back, and we look forward to seeing you on stage in Edinburgh.
Oh, thank you guys. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Thank you very, very much. Bye.